Yeah! It's a miracle! A Christmas miracle! Mystic the Chimp is making a One Piece video! The last time we talked about One Piece way back in August. In the August? Damn, it's been a long time. The chapter ended with a powerful hockey coming out of nowhere, and everyone is scared. They are all scared. They are all pissing their pants from fear. The hockey is so powerful that there is black lightning, and everyone is just running away. Mr. Ye, aka Skopper Gaban, is way too injured to be moved, so he gets left behind. We see Loki and Harald talking to each other, and Loki tells Harald that, "Hey, you better let me go because I'm the only one powerful enough to defeat the gods' knights." And Harald refuses to let Loki go because Loki killed his daddy, the former king of Elbaf. Then we have Skopper Gaban, aka Mr. Yeah, revealing that there is someone else besides Loki who can use Conqueror's Haki in their little group. So it's, Luffy. Oh no, it's Zoro. Zoro has Conqueror's Haki. Now, if you don't remember, Zoro unlocked Conqueror's Haki while fighting King. Remember when all the Straw Hats were fighting against Kaido's army, and one by one all the Straw Hats were given bullshit powers that they never had before, so they could defeat someone that they had no chance against? Well, Zoro was also one of the Straw Hats who unlocked a bullshit overpowered ability during the fight. You know, Nico Robin turned into a devil, and we had Sanji turning into a cyborg. Zoro awakened Conqueror's Haki. Luffy randomly became a god that was never mentioned. Well, that was how Zoro unlocked the Conqueror's Haki. He unlocked it by fighting someone who was more powerful than him. And in order to defeat the guy, Oda was like, "Damn, I got no idea how to make Zoro win this fight." Oh, I know, Conqueror's Haki. Yeah, Zoro has Conqueror's Haki now. And Zoro responds to Skopper Gaban with, "Huh? I have Conqueror's Haki? I didn't even know." And Luffy is right next to Zoro, telling him that, "Yeah, didn't you know? I mean, it's oozing off you. I can feel it." So Luffy can feel that Zoro has Conqueror's Haki, but Zoro can't feel that he has Conqueror's Haki. And then Skopper Gaban, aka Mr. Ye, tells Zoro that your captain is one of the 4 emperors. You must have his back. Luffy being one of the 4 emperors will never make any sense to me. Guy has no land, he has no army, he has no control over anything. Like, if you actually look at the 4 emperors, Kaido had a massive army. We're talking about like 50,000 soldiers across the entire world. Dressrosa, a massive island, was under Kaido. Punk Hazard was under Kaido. Wano was under Kaido. Big Mom's reach was even more massive than Kaido's. Big Mom had like hundreds of islands that were under her control. And then we have the Straw Hats. The Straw Hats who say that, Fishman Island is under our protection, even though, no one is actually there to protect it, because the only capable fighter, Jimbe, left. And Wano is under our protection, but Wano doesn't have any strong fighters, except for Yamato and Denjiro. And by the way, Wano was supposed to be the land with the most powerful warriors in One Piece. And now Oda retconned it to, no, actually, the most powerful warriors are on Elbaf. But sir, it makes complete sense that Luffy is an emperor. Like, I still don't understand. How can you be an emperor if you don't own any areas? Sanji gets mad that Zoro has Conqueror's Haki and he says that Jinbe and Zoro are about to surpass me. Zoro, maybe. Definitely okay. But Jinbe is not more powerful than Sanji, like come on. Harald just tells Loki that he doesn't trust him and he thinks that if Loki gets released, he will stab Elbaf in the back. Just like he stabbed Harald's daddy in the back. And now Luffy what? Now Luffy asks Loki to join his crew. Luffy, are you out of your mind? Loki is a crazy guy. He killed a bunch of innocent giants, like, why do you want this guy to join your crew? And Luffy just says that, oh well, Elbaf doesn't want him, so I'll take him to be a part of my crew. And besides, if anything happens, I'll beat him up. So yeah, Luffy is so overpowered that he thinks that he can defeat anyone at this point. He thinks that he can just allow a massive giant like Loki, who is the biggest threat to Elbaf, to join his crew, and nothing bad will happen because he is there to protect everyone. If the main character is so overpowered, why does the story still keep going on? This isn't One Punch Man. This isn't Mob Psycho, where the entire point of the story is that the character is overpowered from the start. And we look at the series through other characters' viewpoints, and we see their reactions to the character being overpowered. The main reason why I was so against this bullshit Sun God Nika transformation is because I had respect for One Piece, because One Piece was pretty much the only shonen series that never turned the main character into the most powerful, special, amazing little princess on the planet. Yeah, Luffy was strong, but he wasn't the strongest. But then Oda wrote himself into a corner because he introduced the strongest creature alive, and he was like, okay, I have no idea what to do. Luffy's gonna be a random god. Luffy's gonna be the strongest character now. Now the main problem with this is the fact that if your main character becomes the strongest, it's usually at the end of the series, like Naruto and Bleach. If a main character becomes the strongest character in the series halfway through the story, then what is the story going to be about? And a lot of people will say that, well, One Piece isn't halfway through the story, it's almost ending. No, it's not. Like, come on, who are we kidding here? This manga is going to last for like another decade. Oda is not gonna end it. Fishman Island, remember, Fishman Island was supposed to be, oh, I'm 60% done with the story. And the reality is that the story after Fishman Island has lasted longer than the story before Fishman Island. So how is Loki going to join Straw Hat's crew when he doesn't fit on the ship? Are they going to destroy the Thousand Sunny and build a new ship? But that will not happen because the last time one of their ships got destroyed, they cried like little babies. So clearly they are not going to abandon Thousand Sunny to build a new ship, because a ship being destroyed in one piece will give everyone a mental breakdown. So I guess that Loki is just going to have to swim after the Thousand Sunny. I'm not sure, but doesn't Loki have a Devil Fruit ability? Okay, I'm getting way too carried away. Let's continue the chapter. Loki pretty much tells Luffy that he is not going to be Luffy's underling. And Luffy is just like, I can't wait to see how Loki fights. I'm so excited. Harald refuses to allow Loki to join Luffy's crew. Harald, now get this. Haraldin, the guy who got defeated by Machwise or Matchwise, whatever the guy's name was way back at Dressrosa. Haraldin, the guy who got one-shotted by Luffy. The Luffy who didn't even have Gear 5 at the time. Yes, the same Haraldin tells Luffy that I can't let Loki join your crew. He's a criminal. Bro, how are you going to stop Luffy, the strongest character in One Piece? Luffy can probably, kill Haraldin in one punch. Then we see Coppergaban telling Haraldin to release Loki. And Haraldin is like, what is yeah saying? What are you saying, old man? Crazy old man. Loki murdered 113 giants. He murdered my daddy. I can't let him go. So yeah, pretty much everyone is telling Haraldin to let Loki go and Haraldin is against it. And now Coppergaban is like, well, actually, 13 years ago, when that mass murder happened, me and Shanks were hanging out. And we felt something, okay? We felt that something was wrong. We were feeling that a strange hockey was coming out of the castle. So yeah, we felt some weird energy, man. And maybe we were wrong. Maybe Loki is innocent. Maybe we don't have the whole story. Oh, that's nice, It took you 13 years. An innocent guy has been, chained up the entire time, but it's nice that after 13 years you're like, we did feel something else besides Loki in that castle. So maybe Loki is innocent. Let him go. You could have done that like 13 years ago. So you pretty much had a feeling that this guy is innocent and you just allowed him to be chained up for a decade. What a nice guy! Why didn't you say anything sooner, like? I don't know. I was busy, banging my giant wife. Yeah, I was busy doing that. That's why I let an innocent guy be chained down for like a decade. Also, just a reminder to everyone that Loki has been chained up for a decade in a sitting position. It should be impossible for this guy to walk. Well, ever. You can't just go around jumping and running after you have been in a sitting position for a decade. That's impossible. But logic doesn't apply in One Piece. And now Haraldin wants the real truth. Loki, you must tell me who killed those giants. Who killed my daddy? If it wasn't you, what happened, Loki? So now we are going to the backstory of what actually happened. We are 14 years back in the story. Elder Charul and Loki are hanging out in the castle. They are walking to meet King Harald, and when they open the door, a bunch of giants are stabbing the guy, trying to kill him. So King Harald has died. And we don't find out what happened because we get another backstory. So we were in the current story, we had the 14-year flashback, and now we go back 109 years into the story. So it's a flashback inside of a flashback. End of chapter. Chapter 1153, The Birth of Loki. We see King Harald, or right now he isn't a king, but we see Harald as a child. And he was good friends with Dory and Brogy. And now we go back to him being an adult. He was a child for one page only. Harald is complaining about the fact that everyone outside of Elbaf is so weak. I don't know, why don't you go to Wano and fight the epic powerful Wano warriors? Remember how Oda built up Wano as the most powerful warriors? You can't defeat them, they are out of your level. And then we got to Wano and everyone was a weak, pathetic character. And it seems that now Oda is trying to build Elbaf as. No, I know I said ever since Thriller Bark arc that Wano had the most powerful warriors. But when I said that Wano has the most powerful warriors, what I actually meant is that Elbaf has the most powerful warriors. Yeah, I meant Elbaf the entire time. And I guess in the next arc, when we go to another island, that island will also have extremely powerful warriors. And then it turns out that actually that new island had the most powerful warriors the entire time. It wasn't Wano or Elbaf. It seems that there is a circus on some island where a giant is kept as a prisoner. And Harald is looking at the island, saying, "It takes a lot of balls to turn one of us giants into a roadside attraction." Harald rescued this woman, this giant woman. Now, I'm not sure how this giant woman was rescued because all we see is Harald looking at her through binoculars, and the next scene, she's on Harald's ship yelling that you need to get me back. I want to go back. You need to apologize to the guy who was holding me as a prisoner. If she didn't want to leave in the first place, how did she end up on Harald's ship, like miles away from the island? This giant woman is telling Harald to bring her back. She was at the brink of death. This circus performer saved her life. They gave her a job. They paid her. She wasn't a prisoner. So Harald just went on the island off screen, somehow defeated everyone off screen, somehow saved this woman off screen, and the entire time this woman said nothing. She was completely silent, and then they were miles away. All of a sudden, "Oh, take me back. I actually liked being there. How dare you kidnap me?" Like, there are a few pages missing here. I'm gonna have to go back and see, did I actually miss a few pages? No, there are no missing pages. The woman was on the island, Harald was looking at her. Next moment she teleported on Harald's ship. The ship teleported away from the island and she's yelling, "Take me back." Huh? Wait a moment, so if the woman liked being on the island, she wasn't a prisoner, it was a job. How did Harald take her on his ship? Harald took the woman back to the island. He's feeling guilty about kidnapping her, and he orders his giants to fix everything that they destroyed. And now he is bowing down to the leader of the island, the king, saying that he is so sorry about everything that happened. Okay, this woman, because One Piece is extremely predictable, gave birth to Hairudin, and later Harald's father fixed him up with an arranged marriage to another woman who is of the same ancient giant race as Harald. And that relationship created Loki. Because Loki is so ugly that even his own mother does not find him beautiful. Loki's mother starts saying that Loki looks like a demon and he must be destroyed. I don't want this. Yeah, it's my kid, but ew, look at the horns and he's so creepy. Anyways, it seems that Loki, who was just born, who was just like a minute old, understood what his mother was saying because he starts crying. So, this bitch, this crazy bitch, takes a little infant, okay, and she throws little baby Loki off the cliff. And we see that Loki, as a baby, somehow survived being thrown off a cliff. Remember a time in One Piece where a little girl fell down a couple of steps, okay? She fell down a few steps and died. And now in One Piece, 1000 chapters later, little babies get thrown off cliffs and they are completely fine. You don't understand. Loki is very powerful. As a baby? As an infant child? Are you kidding me? Okay, a little baby can survive being thrown off a cliff, falling down for miles. That's completely normal. And then we see a scene of Aida, the female giant that Harald saved, who is the mother of Hairudin, telling Hairudin that you have a baby brother. Yeah, baby. You have a baby brother. His name is Loki. And you have the same father but different mothers, okay? And Hairudin is like, if you ain't my baby brother's mom, then he ain't no one to me. And the mother just says, oh, you're so cute, even if you say evil, awful things like that, and starts kissing Hairudin. Bro, why are we getting so much screen time with Hairudin? Like no one gives a fuck about Hairudin. No one gives, literally, there is not a single person on the planet that is like, Hairudin is my top 10 favorite One Piece characters. Bro, Hairudin is just like some weak giant. He got one-shotted by a regular Luffy. The chapter ends with Loki's mother collapsing. Chapter 1154. It turns out that 63 years ago, Chief Chorul was killed by Big Mom, when Big Mom was a child. Not Charul, the guy with the giant sword going through his head, but Chorul. It turns out that both Charul and Chorul were co-captains of the giant warrior pirates. We get an epic backstory of Big Mom. The girl half destroyed an entire giant village. Her name was Charlotte Linlin, and later she would be known as Big Mom, Emperor of the Sea. Ah ha ha, yeah, so epic. It would be epic, except for the fact that Big Mom, the Emperor of the Sea, was defeated and possibly killed by two rookie pirates who, out of nowhere, gained awakening abilities. Two rookie pirates pretty much killed Big Mom, maybe killed her because this is One Piece and no one actually ever dies. But yeah, two rookie pirates killed Big Mom because they got awakening abilities out of nowhere, so I'm not sure why this character is still being built by Oda as a menacing threat. Ooh, Big Mom, so scary, so spooky. No, she isn't. She isn't scary or spooky. She was a joke character that Oda completely ruined. She was a dumbass who always had amnesia, who always wanted to eat food, who goofed around, and who got defeated by two characters that pulled an awakening from their ass. Elbaf was going through disasters after disasters, fires, gales, cold snaps that affected their crops. And Loki's mother starts yelling that it's Loki, that little baby that I gave birth to. That baby is the cause of all of this. This baby is a demon. Loki's mother comes across as schizophrenic, like you give birth to a child. The child looks a little bit different from your average children. And instantly you are like, kill it with fire. Oh, you didn't kill it? What? This child is the cause of everything. This child is the reason why I hit my toe in the morning, why my toe hurts. And Loki's mother is saying that the kingdom is now under its curse because you didn't kill it like I told you to. What do you mean you didn't kill it? Like, didn't she or her servants throw Loki off a cliff at the end of the last chapter? So now the servants of Loki's mother are trying to get rid of Loki. So the last chapter ended with them throwing Loki off a cliff, and this chapter goes back to Loki still being with its mother. I mean, this backstory nonsense is getting really confusing. One chapter we see Loki being thrown off a cliff, and in this chapter Loki is still a baby and still with its mother. A giant, a random old man, wants to kill Hyrudin because he believes that killing Hyrudin will bring back peace to Elbaf. Because he knows about Loki and he knows that Loki is a demon that created the chaos that is happening in Elbaf. This doesn't make any sense because literally at the end of the last chapter, Loki's mother said that no one can know about Loki, kill my son right now. If King Harald asks what happened to Loki, tell the guy I gave birth and he died while I was giving birth. So she was trying to keep Loki as a secret from the villagers of Elbaf, but somehow the villagers know about Loki and they also know that Loki is Hyrudin's brother and now they want to kill Hyrudin. Now what's weird is that in the last chapter Loki's mother gave birth to Loki. And she ordered her servants to kill Loki. The chapter ended with baby Loki being thrown off a cliff. She also said that no one can know about Loki, not even King Harald. Tell King Harald that he died while I was giving birth. So how do these random giants, this random old man, know about Loki? And how do they know that Loki and Hyrudin are related to each other? The only people who knew about Loki were Loki's mother and her servants. But now the entire village knows about Loki and they now want to kill Hyrudin as a sacrifice because they think that Loki is the demon. So this old man is about to kill Hyrudin and Harald comes out of nowhere, punches the guy and knocks him out. So Harald says that he just found out about Loki and he found out that the kingdom is going through hell right now. So what's funny is that Harald wasn't even at Elbaf. He was outside of Elbaf, he heard about the situation, so with the help of humans he gathered a bunch of food, brought the food to Elbaf, and now everyone has enough food to, survive. But the funny part is the fact that he returned right at the moment when Hyrudin was about to be killed. And this is something that is becoming a cliche in One Piece. In the last arc in Egghead, Kuma came out of nowhere to save Bonnie. They were not even on the same island. Right at the last moment when Bonnie was about to die. And now King Harald appears out of nowhere right at the last moment to save his son. The coincidences in One Piece are interesting. It also turns out that Loki's mother died of an illness and she blamed her death on her son, saying that Loki is a demon and Loki's curse is what killed everyone. And then we see King Harald holding Loki in his hands, saying that Loki, my son. The last chapter ended with Loki being thrown off a cliff. So he was in the underworld of Elbaf. How did he escape the underworld? First of all, he survived a miles-long drop off a cliff. And the chapter ended with him in the underworld covered in snow. Bloody bruised covered in snow. And now in this chapter Loki is back at his mother's side. And the mother is telling the servants that you should have killed Loki. Everything bad is happening because of Loki. How did I miss a few pages again? Do I have to go back and read everything? How did Loki get from the underworld back to the castle where his mother was staying at? This is a plot hole. This is a plot hole, right? I just went through the chapter again and I went back at the last chapter and the last chapter literally ended with Loki being thrown off a cliff. And now Loki is completely fine, back at his mother's side. So Harald looks at Loki, he sees that Loki is bruised and beaten. So the chapter ends with another time skip. Loki is a little bit older now, and he causes chaos everywhere that he goes. We see Kid Loki beating up Kid Haraldin, so yeah, I kind of understand why Haraldin never liked Loki. So Loki jumps off the cliff again, the same cliff that he was thrown off as a baby, and he cries because he can't die. He wants to die, but wait, isn't that Kaido's backstory? Wait a moment, did Oda forget about Kaido? You know, the guy who wanted to die, jumped off a sky island to die. You know, jumped off, fell down miles, created a massive hole, then crawled out the hole and said, "Ah man, I'm still alive." Loki is literally Kaido. Oda gave Kaido's backstory to Loki. So yeah, apparently the super original's backstory of Loki is that he wants to die but he can't. Even if he can't die, it still does not explain how, when he was thrown off a cliff as a baby, how did he get back to the castle? I'm not an expert on this stuff, but I'm pretty sure that babies can't find their way back home if they are abandoned in the middle of nowhere. I'm pretty sure that babies are unable to climb, that they can't climb a massive cliff, like miles long cliff, to get back to their home. Like, this is something that Oda did not explain. He just created, the moment where Loki was thrown off a cliff as a baby. It was just a shocking moment, and we're not supposed to think about it at all. The chapter ends with Rox T. Sebek arriving at Elbaf with Whitebeard and all the former Rox members. Rox and Whitebeard meet Loki, and they mention that Loki is way too massive even for a giant. End of chapter. Chapter 1155. Rox tells Loki that, hey, you should head home and let your father, King Harald, know that you are seriously injured. And Loki is like, I'm not injured. What are you talking about? I'm completely fine. And then Rox attacks Loki and says, well, you're injured now. We go to the Holy Land and we see Imusama. It turns out that 5 of the kings of, it's not explained what lands, but 5 kings have been kidnapped. The world nobles are blaming King Harald for the kidnapping of the 5 kings. And also they blame him for killing an admiral. And while King Harald is yelling that he hasn't killed anyone, he hasn't kidnapped anyone, he runs into Rox. King Harald realizes quickly that Rox is behind everything that's happening in Marejois. And he gets angry at Rox because Rox used him as a scapegoat. The two of them clash and we see black hockey emanating all around them. So both Rox and Harald are Conqueror's hockey users. The fight between Harald and Rox doesn't last a long time because they are being chased by marines. But didn't Rox just kill an admiral, so this guy should be able to take them all down, but whatever. Rox tells Harald that if you survive this, let's meet again, and they go their separate ways. And now we are introduced to Rox's crew. Gold Lion Shiki finally makes an appearance in One Piece. Pretty sure that the only time we ever saw this guy was in a filler movie. He has been mentioned a couple of times, but I think this is the first time that we actually see the guy. Another member that's introduced is Miss Buckingham, who looks exactly like Stassi because Stassi was a clone of Miss Buckingham. And even though, everyone knew that Miss Buckingham existed, including Big Mom, no one was able to put 2 and 2 together that Stassi is Miss Buckingham, that Stassi looks exactly like Miss Buckingham. Another member that's introduced is a generic-looking gangster called Don Marlon. There's also Edward Newgate, aka Whitebeard, a character called Ochoku who looks exactly like Caribou the Mad Devil Fruit user. You know, the joke character that got beaten up by everyone. We get introduced to a character called Kansu, and he's the smuggler. So, yeah, everyone else gets a cool title like Future Whitebeard, Future Golden Lion, Buckingham Stassi, Gangster from the West Blue, Pirate Prophet Ochoku, and Kansui, Smuggler. So we get out of the flashback, you know, the flashback where Harald meets Rox, and we go back to the other flashback, the one where Rox beat the shit out of Loki, child Loki. So after beating the ever-loving shit out of King Harald's precious baby boy, he is like, "Hey, Harald, join my crew. You're a badass, I want you in my crew." Yeah, so after beating the ever-loving shit out of Harald's little baby boy, Harald says that, well, you did try to, injure my boy and you beat the shit out of him. So of course I'm gonna join your crew, I'm a great dad. Like, no! Of course Harald is like, I'm not joining your crew. Maybe beating the guy's son up wasn't such a smart idea. Who would have known? Anyways, Rox starts inviting Harald again and again, and we get a long backstory of Rox trying to get Harald to join his crew, and every single time Harald says, "No, I don't want to join your crew." For some reason, when Rox told Harald that, "Join my crew, together we will be unstoppable," Loki gets inspiration from that. The chapter ends with a title saying, "Rock's pirates are going to send shockwaves throughout the entire world." End of chapter. Chapter 1156. We see an island where all the men are simps like Sanji. They are on the ground telling that, "Take everything, take all my belongings." And who are they saying this to? Well, it's the former leader of the Kuja pirates, Gloriosa, who in the current story of One Piece is that small, tiny old lady that follows Bo Hancock around. By the way, I know that old age can make you shorter, but this is ridiculous. Gloriosa is like, what, 6 feet tall? And the old lady that she becomes in the future is like a tiny hobbit. What happened to all her bones? We also meet Shakuyaku, or Shaki. What the hell is this? What am I? What the hell is this? Gold T. Roger, the Pirate King, is yelling that today is the day we will finally take her from you. We're taking your first mate, Sakuyaku. Is Roger a simp? Sakuyaku or Shaki or she uh and Shakuyaku kicks Roger to the ground. What the Okay, so Roger, how do I explain this? Roger is apparently in love with this woman. She kicks Roger, then stands on top of him, and Roger has the same heart-shaped perverted eyes that Sanji usually has every time he falls in love with a woman. And Roger, while laying down and Shakuyaku is on top of him, says that, "Damn it, I like you so much." So let me get this straight. The legendary Pirate King, Gold T. Roger, The character that Oda has been building up since day one. This character is a simp. Gold D. Roger is a massive simp. This is something that I would have never expected, like, I say that Oda is predictable, but I would have never predicted something like this. And Shakuyaku or looks at Roger and says that I'll never submit to you. I'm a strong woman and you can't have me. And Roger looks so angry. He's like, I want you. Oh my god. What am I reading? Like, am I reading One Piece? Or am I watching a CW show filled with romance? Because at the same time that Shakuyaku tells Roger that you can't have me, I'm too much of a woman for you, she looks at Rayleigh and winks at him. So what we have here is a love triangle. Roger, king of the pirates, is in love with Shakuyaku aka Shaki. And Shaki is in love with Rayleigh. To fill this triangle, Rayleigh must be in love with Roger. Like that would be perfect, like why not ruin all the characters at this point? We then see Corp and Goldie Roger clashing against each other. And we see the same Conqueror's Haki, the black lightning all around them. After that, it's revealed that Shakuyaku is the new empress of the Kuja pirates. We go back to Elbaf. Loki was saved from drowning because he tried to steal a ship and sail away from Elbaf. So I guess this is going to be a short backstory on Loki wanting to become a pirate just like his idol, Rox. Even though I don't understand why a small child thinks that a guy, a grown-up, who beat the ever-loving shit out of him for no reason, should be an idol, someone you should idolize. Then Rocky's father is like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to leave the island? And Loki just responds with, I want to leave this country, I want to be free like Rox. I want to be free like the guy who beat the shit out of me. Yeah, I want to join my abuser's crew. Okay. I can understand why Luffy idolizes Shanks. Because Shanks, saved Luffy's life. But what I don't understand is idolizing a grown-ass man who beat the ever-loving shit out of a small child. We go to the Skull Island that currently in the story is owned by Blackbeard, and it turns out that this island used to belong to Rox and his crew. We get introduced to a character who will be the future Silver Axe. Q the Wicked, the future Silver Axe. Oda is trying to make it seem like this character is a known character in the story. Oh, Q, yeah, this is the Silver Axe. You know Silver Axe, right? No? What do you mean no? Yeah, Silver Axe, the legendary Silver Axe like Goldie Roger and Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom, Shiki. Yeah, everyone knows about the Silver Axe. We get introduced to a bunch of other characters. Pirate Captain John. Pretty sure that's the skeleton from Thriller Bark. Pirate Charlotte Lin, aka future Big Mom. And we get introduced to Strusen. Lin's partner in crime, aka the guy who can turn anything into food, which is the most broken ability in One Piece. Like, Oda didn't even explain how his ability works. Can he turn the entire planet into food if he wanted to? Like, he can touch anything and turn it into any food. The guy can literally shapeshift reality itself. Just think about it. There are so many different foods, different ingredients, and this one guy is able to turn any object into any food. How is that even possible? I know One Piece doesn't have a lot of logic, but come on, it should have some common sense when creating these abilities. To get introduced to Kaido, the biggest disappointment in all of One Piece. And we also get introduced to pirate called Barbel. And he doesn't even have a title like, oh, future Big Mom or future Whitebeard or future Kaido. Pirate Barbel is just catfish human. Okay. And the chapter ends with Rox still wanting to get Elbaf. And still wanting to get King Harald to join his crew. Because apparently Elbaf is the key to bring down the Holy Land. Because Elbaf has the strongest warriors in One Piece. Except for the fact that before Elbaf arc the strongest warriors were supposedly in Wano, but whatever, Oda retconned that. Anyways, end of chapter. Chapter 1157 starts off with the Rox crew looting an island. The island belongs to the Food Clan. I'm sorry, the Food Colony. Yeah, you all know the Food Colony, right? It's an established lore in One Piece. They are being chased by the inhabitants of the island, and the entire island starts shaking. Half of the island rises above the ocean. And it turns out that Edward Newgate, aka Future Whitebeard, is the one who caused the island to rise from the ocean. Now this island is pretty small, almost the same size as Marineford. So the question is, why didn't he do that in Marineford? You know, a war against the world government, all the marines and admirals are there. He could have just, turned the entire island upside down and every single marine and admiral would have been dead and the story would have been over. But I guess the explanation is that this is prime Whitebeard. This is not old man Whitebeard. The marines show up and the Rox crew fights the marines. And we get a few panels that say the following. In a mere 2 years since their formation, the record of the Rox crew spoke for itself. 16 documented raids, 76 sunken ships, 14 ports reduced to ash, 5 towns wiped off the map, 1 nation brought to ruin. It would not be an overstatement to refer to this period as the era of Rox. So yeah, Rox is so badass, so well known. Like, the entire past belonged to him. He was the king. He was the one everyone feared. He was so well known that the first time he was ever mentioned was during Wano, and he was never once mentioned before Wano arc by anyone ever. But he's badass and he was always in the story and Rox definitely isn't a retconned character. He was either mentioned during Wano or during Reverie. But I'm pretty sure that Rox was never mentioned before that. The legendary pirate who ruled the world had the most powerful pirate crew in existence. For the first time ever was mentioned in chapter 957. Imagine building a story for 956 chapters and never, not once mentioning this guy who ruled the world at one point. It feels to me like Oda can introduce any character at any point and all the fans will just say, yeah, that was always established. That isn't a brand new thing. Yeah, everyone knew about Rox from the start. That's why no one ever mentioned him once before chapter 957. 957 chapters into the story, and only then this massively important character is mentioned. Now the world government is attacking the nation that gave aid to Elbaf giants during their famine. The world government members tell Harald to leave the island, but Harald is like, I'm not leaving. These people are the only reason why Elbaf giants didn't die in the famine. The person talking to Harald looks like a Cypherball member. King Harald refuses to abandon the people of the island and he attacks the world government and the marines. Fake news starts spreading that Harald attacked the world government for no reason at all. An innocent battleship was destroyed. Anyways, next up, King Harald shaved himself bald, and him and the rocks are chilling at the bar, hanging out, talking about the world government and its corruptions. We see Admiral Kong, Vice Admiral Otsuru, Vice Admiral Sengoku, and Vice Admiral Garp talking about Elbaf, talking about allowing giants to join the marines. And they want to make Elbaf a member nation of the world government and an ally for the marines. Next up, we are back at Rox's island, you know, the island that currently belongs to Blackbeard. And a bunch of simps are crying because they are reading news articles about captain of the Kuja pirates quitting. You know, Shaki or Shakuyaku. So yeah, Shakuyaku quit being a Kuja pirate. And now all the men are crying because they wanted to meet her. There's literally some guy on the ground crying that Shaki quit being a Kuja pirate. Literally saying that, it can't be, I set sail cause I dreamed of being attacked by the Shakuyaku Kuja pirates. Damn it, we wasted our youth, Shaki-chan! Now all the men are shocked because Shaki is on the island. And she says that she wants to live on the island with them for a while. And she says that, oh, you guys, you big strong man, you're gonna protect me, right? And all the guys are like, yeah, of course, we'll protect you, we'll die for you. Bruh, like, everyone in the past was a Sanji. Everyone in the past was as much of a simp as Sanji and Brook are right now. Then we get a couple of panels of Shaki just hanging out on the island and all the men are having heart attacks and they're all foaming at the mouth and they're all dying because a female is on the island with them. Shaki, oh my god, what the fuck? So Shaki opens... Oh my god, Shaki opens a bar on the island and we see a panel of rocks. Whitebeard, all the major rocks pirates, they all have hearts as their eyes. They all have a cartoonish heart coming out of their chest. Bro, even Whitebeard, even rocks, they are all simps. Oda turned everyone into simps. He turned everyone into simps. Imagine reading One Piece way back when. And someone came to you and said, hey, you know Whitebeard, right? Oh, Whitebeard's gonna be a massive simp. Yeah, his backstory is that he sees an attractive woman and a cartoonish heart comes out of his chest. Oh yeah, and everyone behaves this way. Roger is a massive simp. Whitebeard is a simp. Rox is a simp. Bro, Shaki isn't even that attractive. I'm like... she's like average. An average One Piece female. There is literally nothing special about her. She has the exact same body type as Nami, the same eyes as Nami. She's literally a Nami clone. Half of the females in One Piece look like Nami. Same face, same eyes, same body type. But for some reason, this clone of Nami is so special that all the most important male characters, the most badass characters, are simping so hard that a heart comes out of their chest and their eyes turn into hearts. Now, I can understand Sanji doing something like that. But everyone is Sanji now. Anyways, they are all yelling, oh, she's an angel, and they're all dying. They all have hearts coming out of their chest. End of chapter. Let's get to the next chapter. Chapter 1158. This chapter starts off with Roger finding out that Shaki quit being a Kuja pirate. And he looks really upset about it. Because he's a simp. Just like everyone else apparently. We find out that Shaki opened a bar at Roxas Island. And they tell Roger that, hey, let's go there. She's so hot. We have to see her. We have to see her again. What the fuck am I reading? Scopper Caban, aka Mr. Yeah, tells Rayleigh, hey, I noticed something strange. Ever since that chat you and the captain had, Roger's been kind of gloomy. So, because Oda decided to ruin Roger for no reason at all, turn the guy into a simp? I'm gonna read the text bubbles between Roger and Rayleigh, and this is how I imagine Roger sounding like. Rayleigh says that I wasn't planning on telling anyone, but I guess I'll spill it to you, Roger. It's about that time we fought the Kuja pirates before Sakuyaku quit being the empress. So this is Roger's response to Rayleigh.
She looked like she was struggling with some illness. Oh. And when I heard she stepped down, I got really worried about her health. You got that letter too, Rayleigh. Oh. I didn't even have to say it. I guess you got their letter too. Oh.
What? What else could this message be? What else could it be if not a love letter? And apparently, Shakuyaku left Roger and Rayleigh a letter saying, come find me. And Roger believes that this is a love letter, that Shaki wants him so badly. Same Piece! Yeah, One Piece is no longer about One Piece, it's about simps. We all be simping, yo. You be simping, I be simping. Oh, anyways, let's get on with this nonsense. Let's get on with this nonsense that everyone praises, that everyone says is the greatest manga ever created. Oda is clearly trolling everyone. He doesn't give two shits about One Piece anymore. Like, clearly. So yeah, the Roger Pirates, the Cold Tea Roger Pirates, are heading to Roxas Island to find Shakuyaku. We got back to Roxas Island and we see Shaki at her bar. And everyone is simping after her, of course. And of course, Roger arrives on the island and starts yelling, "Oh, Shaki, I'm here! Jackie John! Jackie John! Bro, he's literally Sanji! Jackie Chan, it's me! It's time for Roger Pirates! Roger is literally Sanji. I can't believe it. My mind is blown. Roger is literally Sanji. Rox is about to fight Cold Roger, and Shaki tells both of them, "Oh, you can't fight at my bar." So Shaki is pretty much the boss of Roger and the boss of Rox. Instantly, both of them are like, "Oh yes, female, you said that we cannot fight, we will not fight." Like, Roger invades your island, comes to your island without an invitation, and you're like, well, this woman who also came to my island without an invitation, who took over the bar on my island, she says that I can't do anything, and because I'm a simp, I'm not gonna do anything. And those are the most menacing characters in One Piece. So Shakuyaku, Shaki, made a rule that fighting on this island is forbidden. This island is for me to make food and sell drinks. So Roger and Rox go to the sea to have a fight. So Shaki is the most powerful character in One Piece because she controls every single man in existence. Now all of a sudden we are at the underworld of Elbaf and King Harald and Rox are fighting each other. Get into an argument and Rock says that he will never try to invite Harald to join his crew ever again. This strange friendship between King Harald and Rox was cut short, and for the time being the two never met again. Until the day of the incident. We are 39 years ago in West Blue, and we see Baby Shanks and Baby Shamrock. Anyways, that's it. The chapter ended with Baby Shanks and Baby Shamrock. Let's move on to the next chapter. One Piece chapter 1159. We are at Roxas Island 39 years ago. I'm sorry, I mean Shaggy's island because she took everything over. And Don Marlon. Don Marlon of the Rox crew has been murdered. No, not Don Marlon. Anyone but him. And Shaggy, precious Shaggy, has been kidnapped. So our brave simps finally decide to come together to save Shaggy. We can't let our princess be kidnapped. We have to save her. I mean, to be real, the characters are shocked that Don Marlon is dead. But when they find out that their precious Shaggy is gone, they all scream at the top of their lungs. We see the curry bowl looking dude counting money, so maybe he has something to do with Shaggy's disappearance and the murder of Don Marlon. Anyone but him. Everyone is crying, everyone is panicking, everyone is throwing a temper tantrum. A reminder that these crews belong to Rox and Colty Roger. Yeah, so the two powerful pirate crews are crying. They are all crying like little babies. Colty Roger finds out that Shaggy has disappeared from a newspaper. And he tears the newspaper into pieces and yells, "What the hell have you done, you bastard? Rox, I'm gonna get you!" And now we have the chapter saying, people were devastated, even their smiles wiped away. Oh, this is the best part. And it was said that even the world's economy came to a halt for weeks. The entire world is simping over Shaggy so hard that the entire world's economy stopped moving for a week because every single man on the planet was in love with Shaggy. Never in One Piece have I seen anything like this. Not even Boa Hancock was disloved by everyone. Like, what was Oda doing when he was writing these chapters? Like, every chapter is about, oh, Shaggy is so precious. Shaggy is the most important thing on the planet. Shaggy this, Shaggy that. When has Shaggy ever been so important in the story that it's now revealed that everyone and their mother and their father loved Shaggy? And once precious Shaggy disappeared, all the world's economy stopped moving, everything came to a halt because of one woman. Okay, let's move on from this simpering, okay? Let's move on from this simp festival. West Blue, God Valley, 1 year after the incident. We see Garling and the mother of Shanks, and this is the first time that Garling sees Shanks and Shamrock. It turns out that Garling wants to participate in a tournament to probably win Shaggy, so I'm gonna guess that all the men are gonna get together and they're all going to fight to the death, and the last survivor gets precious Shaggy. So even though this guy, Garling, has 2 children and he already has a wife, he wants Shaggy. He wants his precious Shaggy at the end of the day. And he mentions that the island that his wife and children are living at is going to get erased by the world government. And he kills the mother of Shanks and Shamrock in front of the babies. So now the Marines, the world government, are sailing to the island and they start executing people randomly. But as we all know, this Pastergal isn't even a real threat because the last time we saw a Pastergal, a giant was able to survive it. Jaguar T Soul, a massive giant, was able to survive a Pastergal and he was able to swim through a marine blockade and none of the marines noticed it. So here comes something actually very interesting. Oda doesn't do a lot of good surprises, but it turns out that Monkey D. Dragon used to be a marine. He is just a marine following orders. We now see a marine prison ship and Ivankov is on the ship. I think that Monkey D. Dragon is going to live through hell. He's going to see some shit that's gonna make him turn against the world government. Now we go back to the Skull Island. They all find out that Shaki is alive and that there is a competition to win her. And the Caribou looking guy is worried because he probably had something to do with Shaki being kidnapped and he probably killed the Don guy. So he tells everyone, oh, maybe this is fake news, maybe she's actually dead. So yeah. Anyways, all the Rock's crew members go insane. They start yelling, Jackie-chan, oh my god, Jackie, you're alive. And also, Big Mom and Kaido are like, oh yeah, some of the prizes are devil fruits. But who cares about that? The main prize is Jackie. So Kaido's devil fruit that turns him into a giant, massive dragon is just one of the smaller prizes at the tournament. The real prize is Shaki. Bro, can Oda stop humiliating Kaido even more? Like, this is getting... Rox tells everyone that we're gonna go to God Valley and we're gonna save Shaki. And literally every single male character is simping and yelling, yeah, heck yeah, we're gonna save Shaki. And they have hearts as their eyes and hearts are all around everywhere. Hearts are everywhere in this chapter. And now we see Cool Roger and he's also like, yeah, come on, let's go save Shaki. So everyone is heading to save Shaki. Wasn't this backstory supposed to be about Loki? The past 3 chapters have been all about Shaki. And how everyone, literally everyone, simps for Shaki. I mean, I still have like 10 chapters that I have to read. But is every single chapter going to be about like all these characters simping for one woman? Rox and his crew set sail to save Shaki and King Harald is in their way. So apparently King Harald has become the world government's dog. Harald and Rox drink sake and Rox reveal that he is actually Davy the Zebek, one of the Will of Tea carriers. And by the way, we are 1159 chapters into the story and we still don't know what the Will of Tea is. 30 years into the story and still no idea what that even is. Rox reveals that his homeland is God Valley and that he has a wife and a son who are still there. Well, if it's true that the guy has a wife and a son, why did he sing Shaki when he saw Shaki? His eyes turned into hearts. I guess Shaki has the ability to turn any man into a simp no matter what. It must be a devil fruit like Simp no Mi. Rox reveals that Shaki was probably kidnapped not just as a prize, but to also bring Rax back to the island to kill the guy. So it's a trap. It turns out that the game that the world government is playing and why Shanks' father killed Shanks' mother is because the point of the game is to kill every single inhabitant of an island. And once every 3 years, The world government holds a twisted game where they hunt humans, slaughtering all the native inhabitants. And now the chapter ends with, after the rarest devil fruits, this is the grand prize of the competition, Shaki. All the world nobles are looking at Shaki and they are simping for her the same way that Roxas crew was simping for her. The same way that Goldie Roger was simping for her. And apparently Dragon had no idea that he was sent on the island to kill people. All the gods' knights are saying that I'm gonna win it, no, I'm gonna win it. So they are all arguing because they all want to make Shaki their wife. And Kanko is in this chapter, which is odd because she looks like a 20-year-old character. And this is 39 years ago. So I guess Kanko is unable to age? Not sure what's up with that. So yeah, the chapter ends with the simping competition. Kill as many people as possible and you will either get the rarest devil fruit in existence, well, the second rarest after Nika Nika no Mi, or you will get Shaki. And like 90% of the characters want Shaki. End of chapter. Also, I think that I should redo the intro of One Piece. And instead of the intro being about One Piece, it's gonna be about everyone being a simp. Because it seems that the entire story is about two things now. It's not about One Piece, it's about Sun God Nika and Shaki. Two most important things in One Piece, let's be honest. Also knowing that Blackbeard as a child was one of the survivors of God's Valley. And that Rox had a child at God's Valley. I'm beginning to think that Blackbeard might be Rox's son, but that's just a theory right now. Chapter 1160, the God Valley Incident. We see Blackbeard's mother and possibly the wife of Rox holding young Blackbeard in her arms. The reason why I think that this child is Blackbeard, well, it's because he looks exactly like Blackbeard, only younger. And the reason why I believe that Blackbeard is Rox's son, well, it's because Rox mentioned that he has a wife and a son at God's Valley. We also see Dragon who comes across Shanks's mother. Shanks's mother is bloody and she is dying. With her last breath, she begs for Dragon to take Shanks and Shamrock. Dragon says that if he can't even save two babies, then he is completely worthless. So he takes Shanks and Shamrock from the dying woman and runs away with them. Saturn introduces the favorite candidates for the competition. You know, the human hunting competition that the world nobles love doing every 3 years. The competition is about to start and the world nobles reveal that they have brought some of the rare species into the competition. There are 13 people that if they are hunted down, you will get extra points. So that's why Ivankov and Kuma were on the ship, the slave trade ship, because they were brought to the island for the hunting game. The world nobles tell the people to start running and that in an hour they will be hunted down. The people living on the island start running and they start trying to find good hiding spots. And the characters that were brought to the island who are worth 10,000 points, like Kuma and Ivankov, are also among the people who are trying to hide. Now the massacre begins. Shanks' father goes around killing everyone. The world nobles go around killing everyone. And Saint Kanko is also here. And like I mentioned before, she looks exactly the same. But yeah, she is also like having fun, killing everyone, using her arrow ability to pierce through people. Saint Sommers is also here, using his wine ability to kill people. Ivankov and Kuma are telling people to escape together. Dragon sees this happening and he gets inspired by Ivankov and Kuma. Because even during times like these, there are people who want to help other people. Dragon sees a world noble targeting Kuma, ready to kill Kuma. And we see a small flashback panel of Dragon finding his fellow marines. And all these marines were killed by the world nobles. Dragon realizes that the world government is evil because they are killing innocent people and marines. One of the world nobles is about to kill Kuma because Kuma is one of the rare ones worth 10,000 points. And before he can do anything, Rox and his crew arrive to save everyone. Because a massive and powerful pirate crew just arrived at God's Valley, the marines start evacuating the celestial dragons. The Roger pirates arrive, and of course the first thing out of Roger's mouth is, "Shaggy, I'm here to save you." The God's Knights arrive to save the celestial dragons from Rox and Roger's crews. There are a bunch of new members that we haven't seen before. There's a weird giant that looks like one of the numbers. A female that looks like Kaido. Some long-haired dude or a woman with a goofy hat. And we have another Nami clone, a generic female character with the same face, same eyes, same body type as Nami, like half of the characters in One Piece who are female. The Marines are being outnumbered. Rox and Roger are taking them down one by one. And Garp arrives to save all the Marines. The chapter ends with a message saying, "The legends have arrived." And way back in the day, this would have been an amazing chapter for me. Too bad that One Piece stopped making any sense. Chapter 1161. The chapter starts off with Roger saying, "Where is Shaggy? Is she alright?" The female who looks like Kaido, one of the God's Knights, the same horns as Kaido, I mean, shoots a laser through her mouth and she injures Dragon. It's revealed that she's God Knight member named Maffy? Maffy. Her name is Maffy. I guess her name was irrelevant because Whitebeard cuts her into pieces. So right after she's introduced, she gets cut in half. But maybe she's like Sommers, because Sommers was also cut in half, but he was able to survive being cut in half and he was able to stitch himself back together. So yeah, this character, this God's Knight member, was about to kill Dragon and Whitebeard saved Dragon's life. We see Whitebeard, Shiki and Big Mom. Are fighting against random marines and easily taking them all out. While Dragon was attacked by the God's Knight member, he lost Shanks and Shamrock. Big Mom, Kaido, Whitebeard and Shiki are attacked by Garp. Everyone is fighting everyone, there's a massive war going on. Everyone arrives to save Shaggy, but Sommers is the first one to enter Shaggy's cell. Sommers slaps Shaggy around and he tells Shaggy that Carling, aka Shanks' father, he is going to get you. He will claim you as his wife. I can't defeat Carling. Maybe it's better to just kill you right now than to see you with Carling. So yeah, Sommers is also a massive simp. Sommers is such a massive, pathetic simp that he would rather kill Shaggy than to see her with another man. Bro, this simping is completely on another level. Even Sanji isn't this bad. I'm not sure what's going on with Shaggy, but it seems that the entire male population on the planet has fallen in love with one woman. How is that even possible? Here is a list of every single character that has been confirmed that they are a massive simp for Shaggy. We have Goldie Roger, Whitebeard, Gold Lion Shiki, Shanks's father, Sommers, the nobles, all the marines, all the pirates, everyone. the entire planet. The entire planet. Just think about it. The entire planet, the entire world of One Piece is in love with one woman. Like, I don't know what's going on, but every male character has gone crazy over this woman. Sommers is about to slowly kill Shaggy, and we see Gold T. Roger rushing to save Shaggy. I'm gonna save you, my precious princess! Who would have known that the entire story of One Piece at one point is going to focus on everyone trying to save one woman? And by everyone, I mean literally everyone, like all the biggest players in One Piece. So Gold T. Roger is running like, I'm gonna save you, Shaggy. I'm gonna save you, don't worry. I'll be here, baby. You'll be mine and we'll be together and we will raise a family. And I'm gonna quit being a pirate king. Oh, wait, okay, he isn't a pirate king right now, but he will never become a pirate king because he wants to start a nice family with Shaggy, and he gets cocked. He gets brutally cocked because he doesn't make it in time. No, actually, Rayleigh is the one to save Shaggy. Rayleigh knocks Sommers out and saves Shaggy. And now it's revealed. Now it's revealed that the message that Rayleigh got from Shaggy wasn't the same message that Goldie Roger got from Shaggy. Because Rayleigh's message says, come and make me yours. So Shaggy is in love with Rayleigh, like I said before. And Rayleigh is in love with Shaggy. And Goldie Roger got cocked. Goldie Roger ain't getting no pussy. Rayleigh embraces Shaggy, they hug each other, they cry. Oh, okay. And Goldie Roger sees all of this happening. And he starts crying also because his best, his best, his best friend stole the woman of his dreams. So Goldie Roger's dream woman, his perfect woman, was stolen by his best friend. So sad, too bad, let's get to the next chapter. Oh well, so sad, too bad, let's get to the next chapter. One Piece chapter 1162. God Valley Battle Royale. Rox and Shanks' father are clashing at the northwest. Cool T. Roger yells at Rayleigh to get Shaggy out of there. Rayleigh is running with Shaggy in his arms. All the pirates are crying, what? I'm so jealous. Damn, me too. And someone is even yelling that we need to defeat Rayleigh so we can get Shaggy. Bro, these last chapters make it seem like Shaggy is literally the only female in all of One Piece. It doesn't make any sense that every single man on the planet is simping this hard over one woman. Then one of the pirates, what the fuck? One of the pirates actually wants to attack Rayleigh to get Shaggy from him. And that pirate is stopped by Shiki. And Shiki stops the pirate because don't attack Rayleigh because Shaggy may get hurt. So yeah, even Shiki is simping for Shaggy. And the funny thing is that the only man who has never simped for Shaggy is Rayleigh. And Rayleigh is literally the only man that Shaggy is interested in. So, what is Oda telling us? I guess Oda's real message with these chapters is that if you simp for a woman, the woman will not respect you. And if you are cold and distant towards a woman, she will fall in love with you. So yeah, learn from Oda, and if you have a girl or a woman that you're interested in, ignore her, okay? Absolutely ignore her, because she will run to you. According to Oda, we see young Ivankov and Kuma about to eat 2 devil fruits that they found. And they are stopped by Big Mom. Big Mom takes the devil fruit from Ivankov, while Kuma eats the other one, so we get the backstory on how Kuma got the abilities that he has. But the devil fruit that Big Mom took, is it the same devil fruit that she's about to give Kaido? And does that mean that Ivankov was actually going to be the first dragon devil fruit user in the story? And if Big Mom never got there, that he would have a completely different devil fruit. I know that the entire island is at war with Rox's crew and Gold D. Rogers' crew, but it's kind of hard to believe that there was literally no one guarding these devil fruits. I understand that everything is at chaos right now, but they should have left at least one of the God's knights to guard the devil fruits. Turning Wano, Big Mom said that Kaido owes her for the rest of his life, because she gave him the dragon devil fruit. But in this chapter it's revealed that she took the devil fruit from a literal child. So Kaido owes her because she took the devil fruit from a child, something that literally anyone can do. Big Mom was literally taking candy from a baby. We see a bunch of these demons that also appeared at Elbaf. You know, the giants that were turned into demons. So in this chapter, now we have the same demon creatures that appeared turning Elbaf, reappearing during God Valley. Rox looks at the demons and he realizes that 2 of the creatures are his father and grandmother. Rox is running away from the demons because they can't die. And while he's running, he's holding a woman, I guess that's his wife. And when I made my last rant about chapters 1131 all the way to 1151, I mentioned that it makes no sense that Imu-sama wanted to kidnap the children of the giants to use the children as blackmail if he has the ability to turn literally anyone into a demon. An undying demon that obeys his every command. And by the way, right now he's also doing it. Also, why didn't he do that in Marineford? They could have easily killed, Whitebeard if Imu-sama did that. It's not like it's a secret, I mean he's doing it in this arc right now, in God Valley. He also did it on Elbaf. So, because Imu-sama didn't exist during Marineford, that's the only explanation for that. But now that Imu-sama is relevant to the story, every single time the Marines are at war with pirates, the guy randomly starts turning everyone into demons that are like unkillable and very powerful. Also, I mentioned this way back in my last video that I did. Why did they have to kidnap the children if the children turn into demons with wings and they can just fly away to the nearest marine ship? Why did the children have to walk slowly in order to be kidnapped? I mean, Tori and Brogy are kind of strong. At the beginning of One Piece, Tori and Brogy were really weak because they got defeated by Mr. Tree. And now all of a sudden, all the One Piece fans are pretending that no, actually, they were always very strong. So let's go with the theory that, oh, they are so strong, they destroyed Kid's entire crew. The ship was destroyed by them. if Imusama can turn even powerful characters, and when I say powerful, I'm doing air quotes right now, but if Imusama can turn powerful characters into demons, powerful characters like Dorian Brogi, why can't he turn Rox into a demon, or Whitebeard, or Shiki, Kaido, Big Mom, Relic, Coolty Roger? Uh, I don't know. I guess if I had to guess, I'm gonna say that it's because the only people that he can't turn into demons are Conqueror's hockey users. That's my only explanation for that. And I haven't read this chapter any further, but maybe that's also going to be Oda's explanation. Hold up, hold up. I just came up with something. If I was Imusama, I would take over Shaki and then I would kill Shaki off. Yeah, I would probably jump in the ocean and drown Shaki for good. And if Shaki dies, then the entire world belongs to Imusama. Now you may be a bit confused about this, so let me explain. If Shaki dies, then half of the male population of the planet will die with her. Because half, no, most men that exist in One Piece do not want to live in a world where there is no Shaki. So if Shaki ends her life by jumping in the ocean, then most men would jump after her and drown themselves. And the rest of the men who don't decide to end their lives because of Shaki, they will be so depressed that they will just cry for months, maybe even years. So if Imusama truly wants to rule the world, he can rule the entire planet of One Piece just by getting rid of one woman. Because by getting rid of one woman, Gold T. Roger will be too depressed to become the Pirate King. Edward Newgate will never become Whitebeard because he will be so sad. Shiki will never become the Gold Lion because he will also be depressed. So yeah, Imusama, hire me. I will teach you how to take over the world. And I won't even ask for a lot. I'll take 20% of your berry income. That's it. Anyways, Rox is being chased by the demons, Shanks' father, and the God's Knights. And if I remember correctly, Big Mom way back at Wano mentioned that God's Valley was the place where Rox's crew was disbanded. So I'm gonna assume that the guy dies in this chapter or the next one. So he runs while carrying his wife. Rox tells his wife that she needs to run away. He's going to stay behind and fight all of them. And while Rox's wife is holding child Blackbeard in her arms, she says that you're not gonna stay behind because if you die, my life has no point anymore. And I'm gonna kill our child. Yeah, Rox, I'm gonna kill our child if you decide to sacrifice yourself for us. Meanwhile, she is holding Blackbeard in her arms. Blackbeard is going to remember this like no wonder the guy is so evil. His own mother told his father that I'm gonna kill our son if you try to sacrifice yourself. Rox tells her to stop being an idiot and he cuts the island in half so she can escape. Because apparently One Piece characters can now cut the island in half. Remember when I said that One Piece is going to end up like Dragon Ball with characters destroying entire islands? Yeah, example number 20. Feels good to be right again, okay? Feels good to be proven right once again. One Piece fanboys keep seeding. Anyways, so he cuts the island in half, stays behind to fight an entire army of demons and gods knights. Blackbeard's mother, holding Blackbeard, runs away. Rox tells her that they'll meet again on Lulusia. Now, Lulusia is the same kingdom that was destroyed by Mother's Flame. Rox is about to fight Shanks's father. Rox's wife is running away holding Blackbeard, and Blackbeard cries. Next up we see Big Mom and Kaido. Kaido attacks Big Mom to take the devil fruit from her. And he eats the devil fruit. Wait. This goes against everything that Big Mom said during Wano. During Wano arc, Big Mom clearly said that she gave Kaido the devil fruit. And now Oda retconned the story and it turns out that actually Kaido attacked Big Mom and stole the devil fruit from her. Can Oda stay consistent on literally anything? Also, like Big Mom seems really pissed off about the fact that Kaido stole the dragon devil fruit from her. So yeah, this is a retcon, 100%. Another retcon by Oda. People love saying that JoJo's creator Araki forgets everything, and there's a meme going around saying that Araki forgot. I have read both JoJo and One Piece, and One Piece has like 100 more retcons than JoJo. When are we going to start the meme of Oda forgot? We see a panel of Rox's wife running with Blackbeard in her arms. We also see a panel of Dragon running with Shanks in his arms. The last time we saw Dragon, he was attacked by the Gods Knights. And he lost the children. So I guess that he found Shanks. And the other child is still missing. Kuma uses his new Devil Fruit ability, the Pa Devil Fruit ability, to teleport as many people to safety as possible. Because, you know, the world government is about to destroy the island. We see a panel of a giant dragon flying in the sky, so Kaido turned into the dragon for the first time. The chapter ends with Rox, Whitebeard and Kaido in his dragon form. And they are about to fight Saturn, who turned into the giant devil spider creature. But this time the creature looks kind of off, looks a bit different. Now we have Whitebeard, Kaido, Rox, 3 of them going against Saturn. Well, Cool T Roger also, because he's on the island, but I'm not sure if he's going to fight Saturn with them. But even with Kaido, Whitebeard, Rox, the fight against Saturn should last like half a chapter because Saturn is done, okay? If Luffy can defeat Saturn and Kizaru at the same time, and not only defeat them, but also to play with these guys, turn them into clay, mold them into any shape that he wanted to, then Saturn has no chance against Rox, Whitebeard and Kaido. Yeah, Saturn has 0 chance against Kaido, Whitebeard and Rox teaming up. And by the way, Kaido, Rox and Whitebeard are all at their prime. They are the strongest that they have ever been. Man, I feel bad for Saturn. He's going to be bullied way worse than whatever Luffy did. So at the beginning of the next chapter, Saturn is done, okay? He's done. Because One Piece is a very consistent story. And even Oda realizes that if Luffy is able to defeat Saturn plus Admiral, then what will Saturn do against these 3 massive beasts? Absolutely nothing. It's absolutely over for you. Run home to mommy, little boy. One Piece, chapter 1163. Saturn transformed into Imusama, huh? So yeah, Saturn has the spider legs but Imusama's shape. When this chapter gets animated, I want to see what color they use for Imusama. Is it going to be, the Saturn's legs? And then Imusama is going to be a massive shadow. I'm not sure what's happening right now. I guess Imusama took over Saturn's entire body. But if he can do that, why didn't he do it in Egghead against Luffy? So Imusama Saturn spider creature attacks marines and, everyone. Pirates, marines, random people. Gold Roger tells his crewmates to fall back, but to also carry as much treasure as possible. I guess this random treasure is One Piece. Yeah, a bunch of random treasure was One Piece the entire time. Nah, I'm just kidding. Imagine if the story ends like this. The Straw Hats, they finally get to Raftel. And there's just one treasure chest there. They go and open it. Epic music is playing and it's finally revealed what the One Piece is. Luffy slowly opens the chest and it's filled with, drumroll please, it's revealed that the One Piece is a bunch of pictures of Shaggy. Yeah, so Goldie Roger's treasure the entire time was a bunch of cooning material that he used, and they are all just pictures of Shaggy that he took. And that was the One Piece the entire time. Garp is also shocked by the fact that Saturn randomly transformed into a monster. Rox faces a Saturn creature. I don't know what I'm supposed to call it. It's Saturn Imusama Spider Demon. Yeah, Rox faces against Saturn Imusama Spider Demon. And he starts cutting the creature in half. A bunch of treasure starts floating in the air, and it turns out that Captain John of the Rox crew has the Magnet Devil Fruit ability. The same devil fruit that would later go to Eustace Kid. Dragon is running while holding Shanks, and because he has a massive weapon on his back that's made out of metal, he starts floating with the treasure. A member of Goldie Roger's crew has the Snot Explosion Devil Fruit ability, that I believe it was Mr. 5 who used it. And he uses the little snot, throws it at Captain John, and Captain John is taken out by it. Captain John blows up with a tiny little snot, and he gets taken out so easily. We know that Captain John will die, because his devil fruit will go to Eustace Kid next. So was he actually killed by the snot devil fruit user? Also, it turns out that the guy who used the snot devil fruit ability wasn't a member of Goldie Roger's crew, he was a member of Rox's crew. So he attacked his own crewmate. Shiki asks him, why did you do this? And the guy just says, I don't know, I mean, he wasn't gonna share the loot with us, so why not? He says that the treasure is worth billions of berries, and Shiki gets shocked by that and wants to get greedy just like this guy. And now it seems that this Snot Devil Fruit user is targeting Shiki next. Why does Rox's crew have so many guys who betray the crew? First we had that Caribou looking dude who killed the gangster guy. And he also kidnapped Shaki. Precious Shaki, oh no! And now we have this armored looking dude called Kanzui, who also betrayed the crew because he wants all the treasure for himself. I guess Rox gathered a bunch of people who were strong, but he didn't gather people who respected each other. And honestly, they do behave like a real pirate crew, which is a first for One Piece. Because this is actually a pirate crew that cares more about loot than their own crewmates. Rox keeps fighting against Saturn Imusama demon monster spider creature. Kaido wants to get in on the fight. And Kaido gets attacked by Big Mom, who is pissed off at him for stealing the devil fruit. Even though way back at Wano, she said that she gave him the devil fruit and he owes her for that. Also, before Rox started attacking this spider emu Saturn creature, he was surrounded by God's knights and the demons that were created by Imusama. So what happened with them? I'm gonna scroll back and look at what happened to them because this doesn't make any sense. Oh, what the fuck? I went back to the last chapter and it shows one panel where he defeated everyone. Rox took out all the God's Knights, every single one, including Shanks's father. Why was he running away from them? If he could have done this the entire time, why did he run away? Why did he run away? What was the point of running away if this character is so powerful that it nuked all of them? Oh, wife, you have to escape. I have to stay behind and fight them. And he took out Shanks's father and like 5 other God's Knights and a bunch of these unkillable demons created by Imusama off screen. Let me repeat that. Rox took them all out off screen. You know those scary, spooky God's Knights members that the Straw Hats are currently facing at Elbaf? Well, it seems that they are not as powerful as Oda made them seem at first. Because one pirate who was able to take them all out off screen. And the guy isn't even injured, he's completely fine. So what was the point of building up Garland, you know, Shanks's father Garland, making him seem like a badass if he got defeated off screen? So Rox is the strongest character in all of One Piece according to the last chapter. And by the way, the panel where they were all defeated, it was just one panel. I saw it, yeah, but I didn't pay much attention to it because it just showed a bunch of arms and legs and I wasn't thinking that it was all the God's Knights that he was able to defeat so easily. I guess it seems that Rox is a Dragon Ball character. He can cut islands in half and he can defeat the most powerful characters in all of One Piece easily, without any effort at all. Without even breaking out a sweat. Also, since I'm on the topic of Rox, let me ask one more thing. Rox really seems to care about his wife, you know, he really seems to love her. Why did Rox simp for Shaggy? When Shaggy arrived at Rox's island, the dude's eyes turned into hearts. And he had a cartoonish heart beating out of his chest the moment he laid his eyes on Precious Shaggy, Princess Shaggy. But now it turns out that he has a wife and that he is willing to sacrifice himself so the wife and the child can get to safety. I just find it a bit weird, but whatever. If he already has a wife that he loves. Well, anyways, let's move on with the chapter. Kaido, Rox, Whitebeard, Cool T. Roger, and Carp are all attacking Saturn, Imusama, spider, demon creature at the same time. And I guess Garp is now working with pirates. For Garp, it's completely fine to work with pirates because you want to attack the demon creature, even though you know it's a saint, one of the 5 elders. But it's completely fine to attack this elder because he turned into a demon and killed a bunch of marines. But way back in One Piece, when his own adopted grandchild was about to be executed by the marines, he allowed it to happen. And he also attacked Luffy and tried to stop Luffy from saving Ace. Oh, okay, and I have like 10 more questions about it, but I'm gonna ask one, okay? How is Garp still an admiral or a vice admiral in the story if he attacked Saint Saturn 40 years ago? Like, I would imagine that after this happened, they would put a bounty out for him and he could never be a vice admiral ever again. So, Garp cares more about random marines being killed than he cared about his own grandchild being executed. Real consistent writing, Oda. Anyways, yeah, Kaido, Big Mom, Rox, Goldie, Roger, Whitebeard and Garp all attack Emu, Spider, Creature, Demon, Saturn, Tingy Wingy at the same time. And no matter how much they attack this creature, it gets back up and all its limbs get back together. It's also kind of weird that Imu-sama still is a Black Shadow even during a fight like this. At this point, Oda should just keep this character as a Black Shadow because it makes no sense to make a reveal now. We see Dragon waking up after he was lifted to the sky by Captain John's ability. You know, the same Captain John that was killed by a random crew member who used a snot ability. So yeah, he gets up and notices that the baby is gone and the baby is looking at treasure. End of chapter. Chapter 1164. We see a panel of Perona looking at the rabbit from Whole Cake Island. Because the rabbit reminds her of Mihawk. And that's funny because this rabbit has always reminded me of Mihawk also. The chapter starts off with Rox screaming, "Ah!" because he was captured by this Emu Saturn demon spider creature. Cool T. Roger mentions that their attacks didn't even face the spider. So Cool T. Roger, Garp, Whitebeard, Big Mom, Kaido, Rox, all attacking the spider together, did nothing. But I'm sure that in the future Luffy is going to one-on-one this character because consistency doesn't exist in One Piece. It's revealed that Davy D. Jones was the previous king of the world and Imusama is afraid. Imusama is afraid that someone is going to inherit Davy's will. So that someone is Luffy obviously because he's the main character. Imusama throws rocks to the ground and rocks turns into a demon. Remember how in the last chapter, or was it before that? I don't even remember. But I'm pretty sure that I said that, oh, well, the only way that it makes any sense that Luffy and the Straw Hats were not turned into evil demon creature is because Emo is unable to turn characters who have Conqueror's Haki into demons. That's why Emu never turned any of the strongest characters into demons in this arc. That's why only fodder characters were turned into demons. And I also said something like, oh, Tori and Brogy are powerful characters. I mean, they used to be really weak, but they got retconned into powerful characters.
And Imusama was able to turn them into demons because they had no conqueror's haki.
But now it turns out that, oh no, it doesn't matter. Imu can turn anyone, literally anyone, into a powerful demon that obeys his every command. Because he turned Rox, the most powerful character in all of One Piece, the character that was able to one-shot all the God's Knights, the character that was able to cut an entire island in half. Yes, Imo was able to turn Rox into a demon. So why didn't he turn Zoro into a demon? Or Goldie Roger or Rayleigh or any of these characters? I don't know, ask Oda. But here's the thing, Oda is not gonna explain that, right? So yeah, Rox is now a demon and he attacks Whitebeard. Not sure why Imu-sama didn't do this a couple of chapters ago, but whatever. Rox and Whitebeard clashing cuts the entire giant mountain in half. Everyone is confused, saying, Rox, why are you doing this? I don't know, don't you see the guy having horns and demon wings? Has the guy always had horns and demon wings? No? Well, clearly something is wrong with him, you imbeciles. Oh, what are you doing, man? Oh, why are you attacking me? It's almost like you're not yourself. Oh, yeah, no shit. Look at him. Does he look normal? No. Well, why are you asking it? Oh man, I know you got like, I know you look like a demon, man. And I know you have horns and wings, and you look really evil right now. But why are you attacking me? Huh? What's going on? Big Mom even says, damn you, Rox. We are allies. Why are you attacking us? Hey, Big Mom, come here real quick. Come here real quick. Look at Rox, okay? Take a nice close look at the guy. And now ask yourself, why is he attacking us? I don't know. Maybe because he's possessed? Rox easily defeats Big Mom. We see a panel of everyone reacting to the massive mountain being cut in half. We see Rayleigh holding the one piece, the most important thing in the world, Shaki. And they are both shocked at the fact that a mountain was cut in half. We see Dragon crying because apparently a little baby was able to crawl away so quickly that he didn't even notice it. Dragon cries that, damn it, I couldn't even save one baby, I'm so worthless. In the last chapter we saw that baby Shanks crawled into a treasure chest. So I'm gonna guess that one of the pirates who stole the treasure chest didn't know that the baby was inside of it, and the baby is going to be found in the treasure chest later on. Kuma is running around looking for more people that he can teleport away to safety. Apparently, Shiki won the fight against Kanzui, the explosion devil fruit user, because he's the one carrying the treasure chest that they were fighting over. Oh, Captain John is alive? Okay. He was defeated by a snot, so I'm glad that he's alive because the character that was defeated by a snot was very important to the story. We see Rox's wife running away while holding their child, future Blackbeard. And Demon Rox is about to attack them. But Kuma jumps out at the last moment and teleports his wife and child to safety. He teleports them near a marine ship that is destroying the island. We see a massive explosion go off, and it's possible that Blackbeard's mom died in the explosion. So nice job, Kuma. You could have... Wait, when you were teleporting all these random people to safety, were you teleporting them near explosions the entire time? Our hero, everyone. Rox is about to attack Kuma, but Kuma teleports away. So Rox starts attacking random crew members, and they are all shocked and surprised that their captain is killing them. Roger and Carp hear a voice in their head, and they hear Rox telling them, "Please kill me." So Roger and Carp appear in front of Rox, ready to end the guy. Roger says that, "Don't worry, I won't let you go after your crew." Chapter 1165. Carp asks Roger, "Do you hear this voice in your head also?" And Roger responds with, "Yeah." The two of them clash against Rox. And because Rox was easily able to defeat all of the gods' knights, they are going to lose, right? Like, okay, there is no consistency. We know that they are going to win, and Rox will die. Big Mom promises that one day she will collect what Kaido owes her. And Kaido just says that, "I'll crush you when the time comes." And both of these things never happen in the story, by the way. We see Whitebeard and someone yells, "You broke the mountain, didn't ya?" And we see Marco's father, the captain of the Polo Pirates, Polo Graham, who was never on this island, by the way. Polo Graham teleported on the island because he wasn't there before. The only people on the island were the nobles, the people that they were hunting, the marines, Rox's pirate crew, Roger's crew, and apparently Polo Graham was there the entire time. He mentions that he is a huge fan of Whitebeard and he wants to build a brand new pirate crew with Whitebeard. We also see Dragon, and Dragon threatens a marine with a weapon. Dragon tells the marine that, "You are going to help me let all these people on the ship." The marine argues with Dragon that, "I can't allow a bunch of random people on the marine ship." And Dragon just points a gun at him and says that, "If you don't do what I say, I'm gonna shoot you in the face." So Dragon has officially turned against the marines. Rayleigh and Mr. Ye, aka Scopper Caban, tell the Rogers crew members that, "You need to sail away." And they jump off the ship and start running towards Roger, I guess. Now we see a panel of the island being destroyed, being blown apart. And we have a bubble right here saying that little is recorded regarding the site of the incident of Gold Valley. Information regarding the island's whereabouts, size and population were also purged. The number of casualties remains unknown to this day. Well, it seems that everyone survived because we see panels of everyone running to their ships and sailing away. And it seems that the only characters who actually died on this massive war, I'm doing air quotes, massive war, like what kind of a war is it when no one dies? So yeah, the only people who actually will die or have died are probably Blackbeard's mom and Rox. Roger tells Carp, "If you want to leave the Navy, you should join my crew." And Carp says that, "If I quit, who will protect the Marines?" So it's kind of funny that Carp... And by the way, how can Carp even quit? He attacked Saint Saturn. This makes no sense at all. Why is the world government keeping Carp around when they know that Carp attacked Saint Saturn? I understand that Saint Saturn killed a bunch of Marines, but that doesn't matter because by their own rules, saints and the celestial dragons can do anything. And if you touch them, well, that's a Pastergal. And you are one of the most wanted persons on the planet. So yeah, none of this makes any sense. Carp is a marine hero in the future. He is a vice admiral, but he attacked Saint Saturn, aka Imusama. Also, it's so weird seeing Garp hanging out with pirates like Gold T. Roger and Rox and being friendly with them and working together with them, when in the future he had Ace murdered by the Marines. When Luffy tried to save Ace, Garp got in the way. So Garp is willing to fight a saint because the saint attacked a bunch of Marines, but saving his own adopted son, well, that's too far. Nah, I can't do that. Yeah, I'll work together with the future Pirate King to attack one of the saints. But saving my own adopted son? I'm not gonna do that, come on. I'll just watch him die, okay? Oda made it seem like Garp never cared about Ace. If he is willing to fight one of the saints, aka Imusama, because a bunch of Marines got killed by the saint, but he isn't willing to save Ace from execution, then that's some hypocritical stuff right there. Yeah, I know that the records were purged or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that Saturn or Imusama, they know that Garp attacked them. So why would they want to keep this guy around? Rox starts crying and Garp with Gold T. Roger attack him, saying that they have no idea how to turn him back. We see pieces of Rox being slashed off, so I guess he's going to die at the end of this chapter. But if Imusama takes someone over and they can't be turned back, does this mean that Tori and Brogy are dead? Of course not. Because Straw Hats will always find a way to save everyone. It makes no sense to me at all that Imo was able to turn Rox, the strongest character in One Piece, into this creature, a creature that obeys his every command. But he can't do the same with anyone else in the story. Okay, whatever, end of chapter. Rox tells Loki that. Chapter 1166. The fight ends off screen. We see Garp and Gold T. Roger passed out. Rox has turned back to normal, but he is heavily injured and can't move. The God's Knights appear in front of Rox and start stabbing him. The same God's Knights that he was able to take out off screen a couple of chapters ago. And one of them is Shanks' father. And I love how Shanks' father was built up as the strongest warrior and the most badass and cool, and he got taken out off screen. So yeah, the God's Knights start stabbing Rox, and this reminds me of the scene way back in Marineford where Blackbeard's crew started stabbing Whitebeard when Whitebeard was already so injured that he was about to die. While Rox is getting stabbed, Rayleigh and Skoppergaban take Rogers and Garp's bodies and run away with them. Roger asks what happened to Rox, and Rayleigh just says that Rox is dead. We see all the characters escaping the island. We see Kaido flying away. We see Dragon on the marine ship. Shanks is in the treasure chest. Ivankov is treating Kuma. Rox's wife is still alive with Blackbeard in her arms. Though the last time we saw her, it made it seem like Kuma teleported her in front of the marine ship and there were like explosions going off everywhere. Garp and Roger are getting medical help. So yeah, this was supposed to be like the most brutal war in One Piece as of yet. And the only guy who died was Rox. Maybe if One Piece didn't turn into a mess, I would care about Rocks, but I don't care about any of these characters. And honestly, the reason why it takes me so long to make these videos is because I don't even want to read One Piece anymore. I'm only doing this because no one else calls this nonsense out. Roger wakes up and all the pirates are like, "Oh, you woke up! We can open the treasure chests." So they all open the treasure chests and they are all so happy about all the treasure that they gathered. We see Shaggy and she is holding Rayleigh in her arms. And Shaggy has a little heart next to her, so this must be painful to Roger. They hear something inside the chest, and when they open it, baby Shanks is inside. Okay, so this is how Shanks ended up being a part of the Roger Pirates. This arc made the world of One Piece seem incredibly tiny. Every character that's relevant to the story has met each other. I find it kind of unbelievable that Dragon goes to this island and he meets a woman who needs help. And the woman is the mother of Blackbeard. And he meets Blackbeard as a child. And right after, he meets two babies. One is Shanks, the other is Shamrock. And right after that, one of the babies ends up on Roger's ship. Dragon also got attacked by one of the god's knights. And who is there to save the guy? Oh right, it's Whitebeard. He also sees two people helping other people escape. And the two people are Ivankov and Kuma. The guy met everyone, all the major players in One Piece, while he was just a random marine at the time. Now we see people reading articles, the news is all over the world that Rox is dead and the Rox pirates no longer exist. But fake news Morgan did some fake news because it's revealed that Hero Carp, hero of the Marines, was behind Rox dying. I find it weird, like why did the world government want to make Carp the hero when they knew that Carp fought alongside Cool Roger against Imusama. Carp tried to help the pirates take down Imusama. But now the world government is like, yeah, you know this one guy, this one vice admiral that went against us. We should label him as a hero to the entire world. Corp sees the article and he tears the newspaper into pieces. Now finally we go back to Elbaf. You know, this entire backstory started off with Elbaf. But now we go back. And we see Loki crying like a little baby because Rox is dead. Loki is so sad that the man who abused him is dead. If I was Loki and the guy who abused me is dead, I wouldn't be crying over it, but Loki's a weird guy. I mean weird kid, because right here he's still a kid. We are shown a flashback. Inside of a flashback, Loki tells Rox, I think you're Nika. So again, all the giants love hyping Nika. They all love talking about Nika. Everyone that they respect, they are like, hey, you remind me of Nika. Every time the giants are in the story, they talk about Nika. Except before Egghead, no giant ever once mentioned Nika, and we met like 20 giants. Even though we had entire arcs where the Straw Hats met giants. But now, because Oda, decided to bring Nika into the story, and the fanboys want to say that Nika was always in the story, Oda planned everything. If Oda planned everything, why was Nika never mentioned by anyone before one arc? And why were the giants not worshipping Nika before Egghead arc? But now, all the giants know about Nika, all the giants love Nika, all the giants talk about Nika. Really consistent story, as always. Anyways, Loki says that I think you're Nika, warrior of liberation. He laughs as he tears down the world. He tears it down, well, I'm gonna be the king of the world, says Rox. If him and Harald team up, then no one is going to stop them. Unless Imusama shows up and turns one of them into evil demons. We see King Harald crying because Rox is dead. And he blames himself for not helping Rox. Remember that they all went to the island to save Shaki, okay? They had no idea that the God's Knights are going to be there. King Harald is beating up a giant that was looting an island. And the giant is unconscious, but Harald keeps beating him up. Because, you know, he's sad about Rox passing away. He says that I couldn't be there to save you. My greatest friend begged for my help, and I left you there to die. A newspaper article calls this event the King of Giants becomes deranged. We see Dragon and he is in a jail cell. He tells Garp that he is quitting the navy. Garp throws him the key so he can escape. So let me get this straight. Garp was willing to work together with Goldie Roger to fight against Saturn, aka Imusama. Now he helps Dragon escape. Okay, Garp is willing to do all of that. He's willing to help Dragon escape. He's willing to work together with Goldie Roger, Rox, Kaido, Big Mom, Whitebeard. But when it comes to Ace, a baby boy that he raised, that he considered his own son, then Garp all of a sudden is like, who cares about Ace? Come on, like, let Ace die. Who cares? And when Luffy tried to save Ace, Garp got in Luffy's way. He attacked Luffy and tried to stop Luffy from saving Ace. Has Garp officially been ruined by Oda? For me, Garp is absolutely ruined after these chapters. The dude cares more about random marines than Ace, his own adopted son. Now we are at Marineford and we see King Harald ripping off his own horns, apologizing for all the giants of the world for whatever they have done. Harald says that I want a chance to atone for our sins. If that means I must be a slave, so be it. I'll be your slave, world government. So the only thing that Harald knows is that Garp killed Rox, because that's in the newspapers. And instead of avenging his best friend, he now becomes a little bitch for the world government. End of chapter. Chapter 1167. I'm getting more excited because only 4 chapters are left. Now we go 33 years back in the story. We see a man talking with Fake News Morgan, saying, I could have sworn pirates were approaching off the shore, but there was something huge and shadowy emerging from the mist behind them. A rumor began to circulate among the Grand Line countries. They said a monster lurked deep in the foggy seas, targeting pirate crews. And we see King Harald's massive ship. He jumps off the ship and starts attacking random pirate crews. So this traitor is now officially the world government's little lapdog, going around destroying pirate ships for the world government. Now it's said that meanwhile, the pirates who had gone their separate ways after the God Valley incident, the horrible God Valley incident that killed one character. They continued to rise in prominence, and over the next decade or so, most of these pirates simply clashed over territory. And we see this caribou looking dude, who we haven't seen for a long time. The guy who kidnapped Shaggy. We also see Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom, and Gold Lion Shiki. And 33 years ago, Simp D. Roger became the Pirate King. Now we go back to Harald, because Harald simped for the world government, destroying pirate ships, and unlike all the other males, he never simped for Shaggy, okay? He's the only male in the story to only simp for the world government. He's built very differently from the other dudes. Anyways, because he simps for the world government, he is now invited to meet the 5 elders. The elders say that, Harald, consider yourself the right hand of the God's knights. Bro, God's knights are weaker than Harald. Why isn't Harald the leader of the God's knights? Harald can actually fight rocks one-on-one. The God's knights got taken out by rocks off screen, okay? King Harald starts simping really hard for the world government. And the dude is like, oh, it's a great honor. It's a great honor to be an arm of the God's Knights. Even though this guy is way stronger than the God's Knights. Harald asks the saints, can Elbaf become a part of the world government? And Saint Saturn says, yes, of course, don't worry about it. You can totally become a part of the world government. It's not like we don't respect the giants at all and we all see you as weapons. No, we totally respect the fact that you want everyone to see giants as more than just weapons. And Harald is like, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I betrayed all my friends for the world government. I'm such a smart character. Anyways, Harald says that I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I'll do anything to prove myself. And Saturn unzips his pants, takes out his massive cock, and tells Harald to start sucking on it. Okay, the last part didn't happen, but it might as well happen because Harald is a massive simp for the world government. Anyways, the father of Garland and grandfather of Shanks and Shamrock gives Harald a Tendenmushi and says that we'll keep in touch, simp, okay? We'll keep in touch. We call and you pick up. Because you're our little dog. Well, he doesn't say that, but he gives Harald a Tendenmushi. Oh, now we go back 20 years. Harald is at Elbaf with Jaguar T-Soul. Wait, this was 22 years ago? No, this was 20 years ago. So Saul has been on Elbaf for 20 years? And he never bothered to contact Nico Robin once? Hold up. Saul has been on Elbaf for over 20 years. Why didn't he ever try to contact Nico Robin? Oh, but you don't understand. Nico Robin was hard to find. I mean, her face was plastered everywhere because she was being hunted down by the world government. I guess Jaguar T-Soul didn't care about Nico Robin all that much. So the school that was built on Elbaf was built because Harald wants the world to see giants as more than just killing machines. He wants the world to see the kindness of the giants. He doesn't want everyone to think that giants are evil. He wants everyone to think that the giants are intellectual. The funny thing is that currently in the Elbaf story, the world government doesn't give two shits about the intellectual giants, okay? Because they wanted to burn down the school and the library, saying that the giants only need to be warriors, they don't need to learn anything. Jaguar T. Saul tells King Harald that he will gladly build a school for the children living at Elbaf. We are shown another flashback and we are at the Holy Land. Fisher Tiger is fighting against one of the God's Knights members. And it seems that the member is Shamrock, turning the fight and turning the chaos that the fight created. Poor Hancock and her sisters escape. This coincidence nonsense needs to end, like I said before. The world of One Piece, because of these past 10 chapters, feels incredibly tiny. Because every established player in the story has met each other at one point. One Piece is supposed to have like what, billions of people living on all the islands. But for some reason, all the characters that meet each other now are characters that are established in the story. King Harald is in the Holy Land of Mare Jois, and Figarland introduces him to Shamrock and Shanks. Wait, what? Shanks is a holy knight? This better start making sense because it doesn't make any sense at all. Shanks, as a baby, was taken in by Roger. We know that he was on Roger's crew as a 10-year-old. So what? At one point he became a saint? And then went back to being a pirate? What a load of nonsense. The only way this makes any sense is if Shanks is a double agent working with Goldie Roger's former pirates in order to infiltrate the world government and get information out of them. But if it turns out that Shanks actually was working for the world government at one point in his life, then that absolutely ruins Shanks' character, because it makes no sense at all considering his personality. And also, if Shanks was working with the Holy Knights at one point in his life, why was this never mentioned by anyone ever? Why are we finding out about this now, like 1160 chapters into the story? Doesn't make any sense. Well, maybe Shanks didn't fight against anyone, so no one knew. Bullshit! In this same chapter, he was fighting against Fisher Tiger. So I'm pretty sure that everyone should have known that Shanks was a God's knight at one point in his life. Look, Oda, okay? Look, Oda, come here. This is the problem with retconning the story so much. The more stuff that you retcon and change, the more inconsistent the story becomes, and the story starts making way less sense. Until the point where the entire story is nonsense. It's complete nonsense. We see Hyrudian's mother. She isn't looking good. It seems that she is sick with some illness. And then we see drunk Loki who took out a giant bull. And you know what? It doesn't surprise me that Loki turned out the way that he did, because his father is a stupid idiot who willingly became the world government's dog and his mother was a crazy bitch. Loki never had a chance, okay? He never had a chance to be a chill guy. He was always going to be a mess. The town that Loki is getting drunk at is called Alcohol Village. And it's the birthplace of Loki's mother. Two elderly giants reveal that they were the ones who poisoned Hyrudin's mother. And they tell Loki that, yeah, let's work together to take out that bitch. They actually call Hyrudin's mother a bitch. The reason why they poisoned Hyrudin's mother is because she's a peasant, okay? She's just a peasant and she doesn't deserve to be King Harald's wife. Loki tells them that Hyrudin's mother was more of a mother to him than his own mother. He says that his own mother was a cold, distant bitch. And Loki kills both of them and he burns down the entire village. So yeah, he burns down the entire village and kills these two elderly giants because Loki saw Ida, Hyrudin's mother, as his own mother. Ida, the mother of Hyrudin, is the only real mother that Loki has had. End of chapter. One Piece, chapter 1168. Giants have been officially allowed to join the Marines. Harald is still talking about, if we become a member nation of the world government, I think we should build sightseeing ships for the giants so they can visit all the member nations. Okay, we see Ida's grave and Harald mentions that it's because of Ida that he tried to change Elbaf for the better. Ida was always Harald's true love. That other woman, the bitch who tried to kill her baby boy Loki, that was just an arranged marriage. Ida ends up dying while holding his hand. So Harald leaves her while crying. We see Hyrudin also crying, and we see Loki locked up after killing the people who poisoned Ida. And he is also very sad. Everyone's sad, Ida is dead. Anyways, now we are 14 years back in the story. We skipped 1 year. It turns out that Shanks left the God's Knights. So me coping about the fact that it was a plan, a high IQ plan why Shanks was with the God's Knights. Like no, it wasn't a plan. Shanks was with God's Knights because he realized that he has a father and a brother who are members of God's Knights. And by the way, Shanks' father killed their mother and he didn't really give two shits about Shanks or Shamrock. So how is Shamrock now a God's Knight member? Are we going to get a backstory on that too? Harald gets knighted as one of the God's Knights and he stands in front of Imu-sama. Imu uses his ability or its ability or her ability because we don't know on Harald. And Harald is officially one of the God's Knights. And Harald says that I am a holy knight, sworn to protect Imu-sama. And I'll also suck as many world government members' dicks as possible because I'm a simp. Okay, fine, he didn't say the last part. Imu says that Harald is a immortal knight now. And Harald says, immortal? I can't believe it. So how did he end up dying if he became immortal? Harald is given a final mission, and if he completes the mission, then Elbaf is officially a member of the world government. The last mission that Harald has to do is mobilize the entire nation and form a grand army of Elbaf warriors. And now Harald realizes that he made a massive mistake when he started simping for the world government, because everything he did was so giants would not be seen as violent monsters. Harald is back at the castle. He tells the giants that you need to chain me down right now. I'm not able to control my body. Harald tells the giants, you need to chain me down. I can't resist Emu's awesome powers. He's overtaking me. I'm slowly turning evil. Ah! You may turn evil, but at least you won't be simping for the world government anymore. Harald tells the giants to summon Loki, Harudin and Elder Charul. We see Loki locked up. Loki gets released and the guard tells him, you need to go to your father right now. End of chapter. The chapter ends with a message saying, the day of the massacre, when Elbaf's most beloved king lost his life. Chapter 1169. We see Skoppergaban aka Mr. Yeah hanging out with Shanks on Elbaf. Skoppergaban tells Shanks that Roger has a son. And Shanks says that wow, I guess that Ace is like my little brother. Anyways, Shanks doesn't mention that he has a brother and that he was a member of the God's Knights for a year. So I guess he kept it a secret from his old crewmates. Now we see the castle on Elbaf. We see a dead giant on the floor and Harald thinks to himself, how could I kill one of my own? All the giants are shocked because they are seeing their king killing one of them. They say that you ordered him to chain you. Why did you kill him? What's wrong with you? Harald mentions that it's impossible to obey Emu's commands. Harald sees no other way out. He's under Emu's control. He doesn't want to kill his fellow giants. So he gives his fellow giants a command. You need to kill me right now. Exactly the same thing Rox did. But when Rox was defeated, he turned back to normal. He tells the giants, hurry, kill me before I'm taken over completely. So all the giants rush Harald and stab him at the same time. We go back to Shanks and Mr. Ye, and Shanks reveals that he was so retarded. Oh no, I can't use that word, I'll get cancelled. Let's ignore what just happened 10 seconds ago. He was so stupid that he wrote a contract with Imusama to serve the Great Holy One. So Shanks was not pretending to be a holy knight. He actually wrote a contract with Imusama. So the same way that Imu was able to possess Harald, I guess he can do the same with Shanks. So Shanks reveals that he has the contract on his arm. I think it's the same arm that he lost. So if he lost the arm, does it mean that he also lost the contract? Well, anyways, right now he says that he has to obey Imusama's command. Shanks explains that if you join the contract, you will get immortality and inhuman strength. And you also get the ability to teleport. So pretty much every single God's Knight member can teleport. Okay, but in exchange, Imusama can reach them anywhere and he can possess them anywhere. So this explains why Kanko was possessed by Imusama earlier in this arc. But I don't remember Rox writing a contract with Imusama. But I'm not gonna go back to see if I missed anything because it's not that important. I can understand that if you write a contract with Imusama, he can possess you. But why can he possess Tori, Brogy, characters like that? Why can he possess uh, the inhabitants of God Valley? I don't know. I guess Oda will explain it later. Shanks's lore dumping gets interrupted by a powerful Haki. And they feel that the Haki power is coming out of the castle that Harald is at. We go to the castle and we see Loki clashing against his father. And Loki is just asking, what the heck is going on here? Why are you trying to kill all your soldiers? Elder Charul is also there, telling Harald to snap out of it and come back to your senses. Harald just says that he is losing his sanity and they need to stop him right now. He tells them that the world government tricked him and that they wanted him to enslave the giants. Harald tells Loki that you must be the one to eat Elbaf's secret treasure. So it seems that Loki is going to get a super rare devil fruit. I bet it's going to be another god devil fruit like Nika, because the entire story is moving towards the direction that everyone will become a god, an all-powerful god in the story. He tells Loki that you must kill me and you must take the throne. Kill me and become a hero of Elbaf. Before Loki can do anything, Harald gets up and starts killing his men. He stabs Elder Charul in the head and kills everyone. I guess Charul got brain damage after this because he forgot that Harald went insane and Loki tried to save everyone. Loki says that he's going to find the fruit and eat it. Harald tries to stop him, but he is interrupted by Shanks and Mr. Yeah. I believe it was chapter 1162, or maybe it was 63. But Mr. Ye told everyone, well, maybe Loki didn't actually kill King Harald. I wasn't there myself, but I was nearby and I felt a weird energy emanating from the castle. So, it's possible that Loki is actually innocent. I don't know for sure. I mean, I wasn't there, but it's possible. Well, it turns out that either Oda forgot what he wrote less than 20 chapters ago, or Mr. Ye lied. Because Mr. Ye and Shanks are the ones who attacked Harald and allowed Loki to go find the devil fruit. Loki finds the chest of the forbidden devil fruit. He is about to open the chest and he is attacked by a hammer. Yeah. Chapter 1170. The final chapter. We're done. We're officially done. Just one more chapter and I don't have to read One Piece for like another 4 to 5 months. You know what? I'm in a good mood now. It's the final chapter. Chapter 1170. The final chapter. The final chapter. So this chapter starts off with so Loki fights against a sentient hammer. And he is losing. He's losing against a hammer. Harald says that it's no use, Loki. The national treasure, devil fruit. No one has eaten it for hundreds of years. No one has been able to eat it. Because Ragnir has never acknowledged anyone. So the hammer is sentient and it attacks everyone who tries to get the devil fruit. How is the hammer sentient? Did the hammer eat the devil fruit? I don't know, I don't care, it's the final chapter. I'm not gonna question anything, I want to get this shit done. Skopper Gaban mentions that if you use Conqueror's Haki against the individuals who are possessed by Imusama, you can injure them. This is the weakness. The only weakness that they have. And Shanks is like, Mr. Ye, how do you know this? And Mr. Ye says that, well, Shanks, when you were a little baby, the gods' knights tried to take you away from us, the Roger pirates. Now, why would the gods' knights care about Shanks when even Garland didn't give two shits about Shanks? That's beyond my understanding. So Garland was willing to let Shanks and Shamrock die, but now all of a sudden, oh, we need Shanks, we need him so badly. Whatever. They continue the fight against Harald, and Loki keeps fighting against a hammer. And the hammer destroys Loki's weapon. Now it's revealed that the hammer that was attacking Loki is a devil fruit. Looks like a squirrel, a giant squirrel. So it must be one of the weapons that ate the devil fruit. Or maybe it was an animal that ate the hammer devil fruit. Who knows? Harald is moving towards the devil fruit to eat it for himself. Charul yells at the soldiers to stop Harald at any cost. Wait, so Charul has a sword going through his brain, and he still remembers that Harald was evil. So Charul, Skoppergaban, and Shanks knew the entire time that Loki was innocent, but they still had Loki locked down in the underworld for what? A bunch of years? Okay. The soldiers attack Harald and the fight is interrupted by a black shadowy creature. The chipmunk or squirrel, whatever, it gave Loki the devil fruit and Loki ate the devil fruit, turning into this shadowy giant creature. Now Loki, after eating the devil fruit, faces against Harald. They clash against each other, creating a massive hockey lightning that emanates from the castle. Loki is crying while attacking his father, and this is it. Chapter ends. And I'm done. I'm done. I read all of it, and I'm done. Ah, it feels so good not having to read One Piece for another few months. I know that One Piece has a massive fan base, but reading this shit is exhausting. And I'm only doing this because there are people who want me to read this shit for some reason. Anyways, that's all for now. Bye!
Yeah, watch more Mystic Chimp vids.